Our next match
for our featured match, Dan.
It's our featured match, Zalae versus Monsanto. So check out this video as we get ready for match number 4.
My name is Paul Nemeth, aka Zalae. The thing I'm most looking forward to in Hearthstone Grandmasters is beating my opponents to a pulp. Just kind of physically dominating them, you know?
Hi, I'm Monsanto. I was very consistent last year, maybe one of the most consistent players on NA on ladder, but I really have yet to win any big tournament, and that's what I'm looking for.
Hearthstone's very complicated, and an effective strategy for me is to try and simplify it. I play my minions so they're in play, I hit my opponent in the face so he has less life. I focus on the fact that tempo is good. I don't think mental strength is important in Hearthstone at all. It's really strictly a physical game, and everything else is just a distraction.
What makes me special as a player, I think, is I try everything. I try every possibility in decks, I try new things. And so when there's something that went under the radar, there's a big chance that I actually found it and I can bring that deck.
My initial thoughts on the other players in my division is that I'm in pretty good shape. I like my chances against these players. I think I can beat them up. They're a bunch of stupid noobs.
Zalae's scary. He would say that he can dominate me physically, and that is definitely true. But so far I'm 2-0 over Zalae, so I'd say I have an edge over him. Being in Grandmasters means a lot to me. I mean, I dropped out of school to play Hearthstone. It's so important for me to do well because that's pretty much everything for me. So I'll do everything I can just to improve in Hearthstone.
You know, it would be pretty cool if I could be first place in the Grandmasters system, but to be completely honest, I don't expect that. Yeah, second place. That seems like a realistic goal. I could probably finish second place in the Grandmasters program.
Well, you heard a lot of words that Monsanto had to say about Zalae.
He is frightened.
Yeah, Zalae's words were recorded pre-season 1. We caught up with Monsanto at a Masters Tour event where he was commenting on Zalae. He's like, well, he'd probably assert that he would dominate me physically.
Which he did. Zalae did say that verbatim.
He did say that. Oh, I think which he did. He did dominate him physically.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Well, maybe he's about to. We'll see.
I guess Hearthstone is slightly physical.
Hearthstone is a game where it's a lot of heart, but a lot of body too. As in, you smash things with your body if you're very upset. If you're Zalae. Yeah. Now going into the matchup, we have a Shaman versus a Rogue. Zalae is the only player today that will be having the Aggro Rogue in their lineup. We'll have more Rogues throughout the weekend, as I believe Purple also brought it. But the Shaman versus the Rogue is a matchup that intrigues me, given that Rogue has fallen off a lot, TJ.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because Rogue was positioned so well if they could just get past the Warriors, and Warrior got nerfed.
Well,
so what happened, TJ?
So it basically all comes down to the Mage nerf. Because Rogue was in a better spot because Mage was in the metagame. Rogue's best matchup was Mage. And because Mage got nerfed, there's less Mages. And because Mage got nerfed, Hunter is also seen less of, because the Hunters were also preying on the Mages. So 2 of Rogue's best matchups in Hunter and Mage, we don't see anymore. And regardless how their bad matchups go, when 2 of your good matchups pretty much leave the metagame, you're going to be in a worse spot. And honestly, the Warrior matchup versus Rogue, Dr. Boom's not that important. Yes, sometimes it could give you a burst of armor on a board that you needed to survive 1 additional turn. But usually the game's decided before Dr. Boom comes down anyway in Rogue versus Warrior. So it didn't hurt the matchup that much. Warrior's still very much still a favorite. And I think that Rogue also can struggle sometimes against Shaman because they develop all these small annoying things early on that you kind of want to attack into, but at the same time you want to push face damage, and eventually it can reach a critical mass where you can no longer come back. I still like Rogue in this matchup, and you'll see why right now.
Because of Van Cleef. Or just the early tempo tools given.
Early tempo tools. Usually you can afford to clear the first couple minions, and then you just start ignoring stuff. And ship and damage face. The only life gain they have is Life Trigger. The only taunts they have are Giggling Inventor, which come down way too late, and a randomly generated Titanic Lackey. So you can hit him a lot. And Monsanto doesn't play an Earthshock in his list.
Yeah, I find that Earthshock, very similar to Mutate, is just another card that doesn't help you with your normal game plan, and it's a more reactive card, and you're playing a proactive deck. That sounds like an oversimplification of it. Oh, the juice.
The juice. I was going to say, the punish for this is that Zalae is stuck with 2 3-drops that need combo activation, and Zalae picks up the 0-mana combo activator in his deck.
Well, you know, here's another question. Is it better to play SI or is it better to play Evil Miscreant?
I think it's better to play Evil Miscreant because then you can combo a Lackey with SI7 Agent next turn.
You also have Waggle Pig next turn, too.
Yeah, but...
Which makes Evil Miscreant plays also good, because then that means you increase your options for Waggle Pig on the following turn.
Yes. So I think all signs point to Evil Miscreant.
That one thing's for sure, we're hitting the opponent directly for 6 damage, right?
Are we pronouncing Miscreant wrong? Isn't it Miscreant?
It's Evil Miscreant?
Creant?
Yeah. As in it's engaged, but not, the ceremony hasn't happened yet. It's not Mrs. Creant.
All right. That's the dumbest one of the day. Out of all of them, that's the dumbest.
I'm glad. We did it.
We got there. So this is a potential swing for Monsanto. He can play.
It's a huge swing. Whoa. Well, there's no Khadgar benefit from it, but let's see what the 8-mana minion is. Princess Talanji.
It's the second time. Interesting.
All right, so Zalae sits up. Thinks, I have a lot of damage right now. I have 10 damage, put me down to 14.
I think it's time to race. So
At the same time, you do have Miscreant and Waggle Pigs, so it's the idea, the thought that you can start to outvalue the Shaman isn't entirely out there.
Yeah, I don't know. My first instinct always is to race.
Well, yeah, when you play an aggressive rogue and you have 10 damage, which is almost half your opponent's life right now, and plus you have another 4, I like it. It's Zalae. Play the biggest thing so it's in play. Hit him in the face so they're dead. What else is there to think about?
I mean, he's got so much damage because Captain Greenskin comes down next turn. He basically needs to find 1 point of damage over the next 2 turns to pair with Life Drinker, and then he's got lethal set up.
Well, what's funny is that I've never seen Khadgar summon 2 totems before, and I never will. It's because Khadgar says your cards that summon minions, not your hero power. Okay. Like, I've never seen Khadgar in Shaman.
Yeah.
Very candidly.
If you had put me on the spot and say, TJ, you have to answer this question in 2 seconds or less, and you said, does Khadgar summon 2 totems? I probably would have said yes.
I mean, I caught myself.
Because the hero power says summon a random totem.
Yeah. And Khadgar usually is associated with summoning.
Yeah. I mean,
But it says your cards.
yes.
So it's an important distinction to be made.
Very important distinction.
All right, so Zalae has a 2-turn lethal. He plays Life Drinker, bounces it, and hits him again. Monsanto has to stop it. Monsanto has 7, 8, 11. No, he doesn't have a 2-turn lethal because he needs to kill the Captain Greenskin. Has to totem for a taunt totem. Nice thing is that Monsanto can Goblin Lackey, trade in, and hit face for 8 keep the pressure up, has 11, 12, 13 to follow up, which is exactly how much Zalae would have, I believe.
Looks like this is game over.
Yeah, it is game over.
Rack them up. Let's go to game 2. Love me some Rogue.
It's interesting though, because Monsanto does have like a 2-turn lethal setup himself, but just a turn behind.
Just 1 turn behind. And honestly, those are the best kinds of Rogue wins.
Yeah, this is smart too for Monsanto because he can hero power and play the weaponized wasp, gets more lackeys on the board. This is the better sequencing from his perspective.
Yep.
But Zalae's got him. On turn 6. Whew.
Yeah.
Fast one, but a good one.
That's some good old Rogue for you. Monsanto had the concede button ready. Game 1 goes to Zalae with the Rogue deck. Kind of weird seeing him win with Rogue and Monsanto lose with Shaman, because last season...
Right. Or last week, Zalae was the one losing with Shaman. And
yeah.
Then last season, Monsanto was dunking people with Rogue.
Yeah.
Now we get to the point where, you know, Zalae is pretty desperate for a win, and he's not playing Shaman. He's beating the Shamans. To be fair, 2 things. I think Shaman wasn't nearly as bad of a bring as it was in the previous metagame.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the buff patch. Or sorry, the nerf patch, and Shaman got a huge buff from it. And the second thing is, I wasn't sure about Zalae's deck list specifically. I know that he played a lot of greedy stuff like Youthful Brewmasters, but he also had the 2 Earth Shocks, which felt like kind of conflicting in strategy.
He changed it a lot this week.
He changed it up, and I think that the deck list is better. So we'll see if that ends up being the deck that Zalae plays or a Monsanto strike back. It's all up in the air. So when we come back, we're going to find out more from this best of 3.
My name is Sam Braithwaite, and I'm the Senior Global Franchise Lead for Hearthstone Esports. This event was especially cool because it takes place right after the brand new expansion, Rise of Shadows. Historically in Hearthstone Esports, we do our big events like this towards the end of an expansion cycle, but we really wanted to shake things up and really showcase that not only is the world champion the person who can pilot the best decks, but also the person who, when presented with a brand new game, can put together the best decks leading into the World Championship. Cheers to you guys, the sold-out crowd here for the HCT 2019 World Championship.
Welcome back to 2019 HCT World Championship.
We've had a lot of fun games, and we're looking forward to the grand finals. Showdown. Viper versus Hunter Race. Only one can be the champion. Oh, come on!
Match be dead.
Wacko pick a Vince coming out from Hunter Race.
It's now or never. Archvillain Reform.
Okay! In a completely solved game, Hunter Race finds a way to maximize his chances. It's been a wonderful journey throughout the past few years of the Hearthstone Championship Tour, where stars were made and dreams came true.
Hearthstone Esports is home to many competitive formats, each with their own unique variants and rules. Today, we're going to break down one of them, the Shield Phase Conquest format. And here's how it works. To start, both players bring 4 decks, each from a unique class. The match starts with a Shield Phase. This is where both players choose one of their own decks to protect, making it ineligible to be banned. Once the Protect phase has ended, both players will then ban one of their opponent's decks, removing it from the pool. Each player then selects which of their remaining decks they would like to play first before beginning the first game of the series. When the first game of the series is over, the winner's deck is removed from their pool of eligible decks. Both players then select the next deck they would like to play. The loser of the first game can choose to replay with the deck they lost with, or they can choose one of their other 2 available decks. In best of 3 conquests, the first player to 2 wins is the victor. In best of 5 series, such as those in the semifinals or finals of major events, the first player that makes it to 3 wins takes the W. It's that easy. Shield Phase Conquest allows players to showcase their skill set across different classes, while still giving them the opportunity to play the deck they're most confident with. Now that you've got the download on Shield Phase Conquest, we wish you well on your deck building adventures.
Game number 2 is going to be a Druid versus a Warlock. Zalae is going to be on the Quest Druid with the King Harris and no Chef Nomi. And then over in Monsanto land, he is going to be playing Warlock.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the first Warlock we've been seeing today, TJ?
In Americas, yes, I do believe so.
Yep. It's powered by the new card from Sabers of Old Doom, Diseased Vulture, which combined with the Neferset Thrasher, another card from Sabers of Old Doom, has really good synergy. Whenever this attacks, deal 3 damage to a hero. Normally seems like a really significant drawback, and trust me, it is. I've played a handful of Zoo Warlock versus Hunter games, and I'm like, wow, I am dying real fast. But when you get to combine it with Disease Vulture, you get to make magic happen because a lot of stuff gets summoned to the board. And so much so that even before the nerf patch 15.0.4, Disease Vulture was carrying Zoo Warlock decks to relevance to the point where some players even brought their Grandmasters. Tom 60229 brought Zoo Warlock.
He was
last
2-0
week and won 2-0.
Yeah, and he actually played the deck. You know, sometimes we can, with Shield Face Conquest, say, oh, this player brought this crazy deck. And they 2-0'd
like
that.
Highlander Zoo Warlock.
And then
Bloodyface won.
Yeah. Bloodyface, led by his Highlander Zoo Warlock deck, takes a 2-1 victory or 2-0 victory over race. Nah, he didn't play it.
That's what they would say on the curve.
Yeah.
That's the kind of content those jabronis put out there.
Yeah. That's why Omnistone's here, to really put us into place. I also like it how I think you asked... You guys were talking about the meta on Omnistone yesterday, and you asked Firebat what his favorite Quest Shaman list was.
Did I?
Did you? I think it was you. Unless it was a guy that looked like you whose name was also Dan.
Was it?
I don't know. But you asked Firebat what his favorite Quest Shaman deck was. He said Zalae's. Zalae doesn't even like his own Quest Shaman deck because he changed it.
You mean... Oh, I know what you're talking about. So Firebat was saying that Zalae's deck list of the Quest Shaman, because we were debating was the best optimal list. Was it a more tempo-oriented one? Is it a more value-oriented one? Is it more combo-oriented one? Is it a more defensive control-oriented one? And Firebat said he likes Zalae's the most. That being said, I think he might have been referring to Zalae's current version. Because Zalae plays a lot of the Shaman on stream.
I think he specifically mentioned the Brewmasters, though. Maybe I'm wrong. I watched it on my drive home yesterday.
You watched it while driving?
Listened.
You listened while driving?
I did, yeah.
Good, thank you.
It was some smooth, easy listening.
To the dulcet tones of Mr. Brian Kibler.
The smooth, sultry tones of James Firebat Kostasich. Coming at you live. It's Detroit.
Yeah. So the Faceless Lackey coming out here. This is mainly threatening the 3-drop that would be coming out, the Evil Recruiter. Evil Recruiter, which destroys a Lackey and summons a 5/5 in its place, is making Zalae think. Because if it does, he wants the hero power and kill that 1/1. But if he doesn't, and Monsanto has the Evil Recruiter, he loses the game. So this is a situation that Monsanto's setting up that makes Zalae panic a little bit.
Yes.
And I like that because he obviously does not have the Recruiter in hand, but he's making Zalae think. Plus, he can also get fortunate and top deck that. Zalae does have a contingency plan, though. He can innervate after he hero powers. Ooh, the bold calls.
Oh, picks up Wrath.
Wrath is a great pickup, too.
Yeah, it's pretty much the perfect pickup to fill his curve next turn.
And Zalae says, you know what? If you got it, you got it. Plus, Monsanto, I believe... I actually wish I could go back and switch POVs, but I think he only kept one card. So if you see certain cards being kept, and you know, usually Evil Recruiter is a keep with like another card so that you know you guaranteed have it. Otherwise, you're playing 3-mana 3/3.
Yep.
So you can pick up on these small little clues on how Zoo Warlock likes to use their opening, because with a board tempo deck like this, their opening hand almost dictates how the rest of the game is going to pan out.
Oh, absolutely.
That being said, I do want to put something out there. I think Zoo Warlock often gets a bad rap for being a fairly simple deck. I think it is a simple deck, but yet it has a very high ceiling.
It used to be a pretty simple deck.
With the Doom Guards?
Yeah, because... So every deck has gotten more complicated because every other deck has gotten more complicated. So when they're... I know that sounds weird, Dan. I know. Hear me out. When decks have so many different things that they can do, there's so many different things that you have to play around with the things that you do.
Okay.
Which means that the overall, the average game of Hearthstone is leveled up.
Right.
And it also affects how you build your deck, because when so many other decks can do all these things, you have to account for doing all these things. It's a reason why...
So don't think about the things you don't do. Think about the things you do.
He said doo-doo. Yes. Now, there's a few exceptions, but right now, there's not that many decks that just do one thing. Even Rogue, which is the deck that does the most of one thing, which is hit you in the face, there's a lot of players that don't agree with the deck that only does one thing and play like Tempo Rogue with the Burgle package that does multiple things.
Got it. Well, Zoo does do one thing really well, which is build the board.
Yes.
But one thing that I found is after the first 3 or 4 turns, when you start getting lackeys in the hand and you start figuring out when to life tap and how to trade, there's a lot of complicated board states.
Yes.
And Monsanto's simplifying by saying, you know what? If you swipe, you're not finishing your quest. And Zalae, he does have a couple of answers at his disposal, but now he has to take this threat very seriously. Zoo Warlock, by the way, is a deck that started becoming popular because people were jamming Druids so often from the new patch. And now Zalae has to fade this last turn before his quest finishes. But even then, it's not a guarantee that he'll be able to survive because there's too much pressure. There's too many threats. He wants to kill Disease Vulture. He wants to kill the Direwolf Alpha.
Ooh, Mark of the Loa.
Yeah, he needs to do this. He needs to kill the Direwolf Alpha. He wants to draw Starfall. 8 damage on the board. 4 damage is all that's needed to close out this game, and Monsanto has a way to perhaps even discover it through the evil Cable Rat.
Yeah, also a Grim Rally off the top would do it. A Wolf Rider from the life tap into a Kobold Lackey or Goblin Lackey would do it.
Whoa! Okay, I mean, that's some of the strongest 3-mana stats you can get in the game, along with injured Blade Master. Monsanto picks up Knife Juggler. Not going to really do too much except set up for potential damage on the following turn. The problem is you're coming up on Starfall, and you are worried about the Starfall recovery. And it's not just Starfall, it's also the Anubisoth Defender.
Yeah.
So you need to consider all of those things.
Yeah, he is pretty protected from Starfall because of the Ukla and Disease Vulture. He's also going to get another 3-drop here from the Flame Imp.
Yeah.
That's a pretty underwhelming one. That makes him super weak to Starfall. But right now, Zalae doesn't have it. And it looks like he may have to Hidden Oasis here.
If he hit an Oasis, he goes up to 16. The 6 damage goes in, and there is 13 remaining. So
plus some juggles.
Yes, it looks like Zalae is dead. But
board space.
yes, board space is manageable too. You just trade in the lower attack minions. You trade in the 1/3, the 3/2, and the 2/2. You have 13 power remaining, and you have 3 board spaces. So just play Evil Cable Rat, Mecharoo, plus the Lackey.
Yeah.
That's 1 of 3 that needs to trade. Just trade the 2/2.
Playing it first. It's still alive. Still okay. But nope, it's not alive.
No, he still can. You just have to Witchy Lackey and then hit the 50/50. Right?
Okay, so he would have traded in Flame Imp 1/3/2/2, 8 damage.
Wait, no.
10 damage.
Does miss it.
13. He would have had 3 board space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he no longer.
See, now we
This
can point.
lethal?
We can point this out, and a lot of people will laugh at Monsanto, and we're not denying that. He should be a player of his caliber will look at that and say, you know what, I messed up. Unless I'm missing something, I miscounted at this.
Wait, no, he gets 2 minions from the evil.
Yes,
yeah.
he does.
So he didn't miss it. It was just a way more complicated way to do it.
Okay.
Because he destroyed. He summons one with the Witchy Lackey. Or he's
Right.
And then
he kills a minion and
then he kills a minion. Yeah. So he got there, and now they're laughing at us.
Now they're laughing at us. But he made that real close.
That was a way more complicated way to do that. Way more complicated way to do that.
Yeah. Style points.
For
the BM. Well done, Monsanto.
Yeah.
You know,
Bravo.
We figured out the level 1. He figured out a way to rope it out and make it seem like he was going to miss it. But yeah, got it.
Yeah. Smart plays.
Yes.
So yeah, tied up 1-1 now.
Tied up 1 game apiece. Zoo Warlock rose to prominence largely because of Druid's lack of action in the very beginning, and I think that just goes to show you what happens when they get to play Diseased Vulture, and there's no answer for it. Druid does struggle with 5-mana damage. The only really convenient access to that is Starfall, but they need to finish the quest. Even though Zalae had early access to things like Coin and Innervate to even finish the quest, it still wasn't fast enough. And another thing too to consider that Zalae also played greedy. He could have gotten punished at a few junctures if Monsanto had the optimal hand. If he had the nuts with like the Evil Recruiter shutting down the Lackey and then summoning the 5/5. Clearly a very emotional game for me, TJ.
It's okay.
Get choked up.
It's okay.
Just the thought of destroying your own lackeys at the thought of upgrading them into 5/5s.
Malfurion's
not emotional moment.
He's not actually dead, Dan.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
It's just a game.
It hurts so bad.
I know it does. But yeah, I don't think you have to say to yourself, do I ever beat the perfect hand, right? Against Zoo Warlock. It's a bad matchup. If he has a perfect hand, I lose. So you kind of have to play to, all right, his hand is mediocre, so I'm just going to play my own game plan and hope I get there.
The one thing that I do think was kind of greedy, but I get where Zalae's head's at, was the Crystal Merchant instead of killing the Direwolf Alpha.
So, but
he says, I need Starfall.
He says, I need Starfall.
Or Swipe. Either of those two.
Yeah.
And ends up getting neither until it was too late. And then the Direwolf Alpha already put out umpteen amounts of damage. Well, we're moving on to game number 3. Monsanto turning back to the ways of the Shaman. And does have the Youthful Brewmaster. So, you know, a little bit of Zalae inspiration.
Yeah, has Acidic Swamp Ooze, no Earth Shocks. And a pretty, I generally like the list with the exception of 2 Giggling Inventors. I think having 2 Giggling Inventors and a Youthful Brewmaster, I don't know. I'm trying to work through my logic here, but they seem like they work against each other because Youthful Brewmaster gives you so much value, whereas Giggling Inventor seems like an anti-aggro card, because Giggling Inventor doesn't do that much against control, but it does give you an extra minion for Mutate that has high upside.
Gotcha.
Not sure. I'm unsure how I feel about the list. Overall, oh no, he doesn't have the Acidic Swamp Ooze. Zalae has the Acidic Swamp Ooze. Monsanto has no Earth Shocks, but instead has the Youthful Brewmaster in that 2 slot.
And we'll see if that ends up becoming a key card against Warrior, a class that I think you have time to play the Youthful Brewmaster. Monsanto has the Questing Explorer. That is a card that I don't mind bog sloshing. Shout out to Chad Nervig, by the way, K Celestalon, initial game designer. He tweeted at me and TJ and said that the original name for Bog Slosher was Bog Sploosher, which I think would have been a way better name. So shame on you, Hearthstone devs, for not naming it Bog Sploosher. I've been way happier if that was the case.
Yeah. Slosher is equally as
vivid.
I wonder.
Yes. I don't know if vivid was the right word for that scenario, but let's roll with it.
Titillating.
Ah, yes, it was
arousing.
Excruciatingly titillating.
Well,
what to do?
We can slurp or we can slosh. I like the...
We could do both.
Slurp then slosh. Sounds like a real combo to me.
I feel...
This is a combo shaman?
I'm more in the slosh then slurp.
Oh, kinky.
Yeah.
Nope, slurped and slosh. Ah, man of culture.
I underestimated Monsanto.
See, they say chivalry is dead.
Yeah.
Truly a gentleman. I apologize to all people who are watching with their young ones. We should have definitely put a mature filter on this broadcast stream before.
I mean, it's not
entering any Quest Shaman games.
It's not our fault.
That's right. We're just reading the card text, Dave.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Slay has the Warpath, but doesn't seem like it'd be a good use of it right now.
Yeah, there's just so much ability for the Shaman to generate these small, wide boards where Warpath is super crucial. But at the same time, Slay does have double Brawl in his hand. So if he doesn't Warpath now, he's pretty much saying, okay, I'm going to Brawl next turn. And then if his Brawl next turn isn't good, then he's back to square one where he's like, okay, I got a Warpath. So if that's the conclusion that he comes to, then Warpath would be correct this turn so he doesn't take the free damage effectively. But looks like he's going to be in for something different here. Gaining armor.
I think this is an important moment here for Zalae to keep passing and hold on to some of these really important control tools. If you look at the matchup statistics for Quest Shaman, It tells a very similar story to the Quest Druid versus Control Warrior, in that at lower ranks, Control Warrior is significantly favored, but as you improve with the deck and rank up, the Quest Shamans increase the win rate to be very close to 50-50. And I think that is largely a testament to Quest Shamans understanding what is important in the matchup as opposed to universally playing good battle cries and just trying to overwhelm with traditional value. And it could be also the mixture of deck lists, because you start adapting things a little bit better, or start playing, less on a budget and more on these are the most powerful cards, and more dedicated players.
Yeah.
There's little time.
That being said, there are some wonky stats out there. So, for example, according to Legend ranks only, Quest Shaman is 56% favored against Quest Shaman. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know how that works.
I mean, that's just facts.
Can't argue with that. Look, TJ.
Well, so,
look!
If you think about it.
Look at it right now. Acknowledge that I just said that.
Quest Shaman at any point in time is 0% and 100% favored against itself. And any percentage thereof in between also makes sense.
Wow, that is some real interesting logic and mental gymnastics you put there, but I can't really argue with that because it's true.
What I lack,
we're like doing some mathematical proof to indicate that in fact Quest Shaman is 56% of the time favored against Quest Shaman.
What I lack in physical flexibility, I make up for with mental flexibility.
I approve. Slurping up all this knowledge.
Sloshing it back up.
Gross. Monsanto holds on to his board. This is a fairly important moment here. Monsanto was playing around things like the Dynamatic on 5. Doesn't have to worry about it. Now, what does Monsanto do? Does he press in further and play deeper into Warpath? Or does he just very narrowly edge further? His quest, 5 out of 6.
Yeah. So, Youthful Brewmaster has so many powerful uses in the matchup. The ones that stick out to me the most are Barista Lynchin, obviously, but quite hard to use because of the mana expenditure. And Life Trigger, because Life Trigger is guaranteed Shutterwalk damage. I like this. But Block Slasher is another one because you double up. It's like Brewmastering a Brewmaster, right? Because you're bouncing something back, and then you get another bounce back. You could effectively go with an endless chain of Block Sloshers for infinite value.
Infinite value does sound appealing. I mean, you saw a small semblance of it at the very end of the last series in Europe, where we just saw like Elise copying the Floop and doing some other stuff, which copies another Floop, which gives you another Elise. It just gives you a bunch of real big value stuff. It's not an infinite chain completely, but what feels like a virtually infinite.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we saw the triple warpath, Monsanto can develop a little bit more into it.
Yep.
Finds the Faceless Lackey.
Oh,
ooh,
yeah.
The Serpent Totem.
Serpent Totem. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage.
It's a Serpent Ward.
To the enemy hero? Oh, it's a Serpent Ward.
It's a totem.
Is it a totem?
It is a totem.
It is a totem.
Yeah.
That's,
It's one of the first neutral totems that's out there. That was the reason why when people saw its release, they oh, neutral totems, we can put in any class, except forgetting the fact that there's only one class that really wants to play totems.
yeah, you can use it as deal 2 damage to your opponent, +2/+2 on totem crunch.
There's little time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a tier 1 deck. Oh, nice.
I mean, that 2 extra damage is not trivial.
No.
I think the way the Shaman closes the game is it either beats the Warrior, sometimes just barely, like with a few damage left over, or it loses by like 40 life.
Yeah.
No tomb can hold me.
It doesn't tend to be very in between.
No tomb can hold me.
But I think that also is like a way to just show that sometimes Shaman stays in, like they end up, the game is slipping away from them and the lead from Warrior just becomes insurmountable and then they give up.
Yeah. Oh man, these mutates are...
They're not that great. They're sitting in the hand. Monsanto does have the opportunity to evolve and see if he wants to mutate further. Starts off as a rat. About to get a little science lesson. The rat becomes a fiend.
Evolution displayed right before our very eyes.
Well, I mean, this is actually one of the best minions you can get at 4 mana, so I think we just chill.
I'm not mutating this.
Yeah.
Maybe the Whirling Glider?
I wonder.
I don't know. Mutate still has a lot of good targets left in the deck. As I mentioned, Monsanto plays double Giggling Inventor. So he has double Giggling Inventor, double Mogu Flesh Shaper to dig for mutate targets. So 4 great mutate targets out of 17 cards left in the deck. I think I'm just holding on to mutate. And I like this from Monsanto. One of the things that ETC didn't do as often as I would have liked in his matchup was use the Goblin Lackeys as just 2 face damage.
Push the damage.
Yeah. Monsanto has laid down to 20, which is actually pretty good because he still has a lot of damage cards to draw. He hasn't drawn Life Drinker, he hasn't drawn Barista Lynchin, which I pretty much count as a damage card because that's what you're looking for. He's still got like all of his big stuff left in his deck, which means that I want to get this damage early. And a Brawl's going to come out from Zalae.
Well, the best outcome in that a weak minion survived. It is a lackey, though. It's not a super high impact lackey.
Yep.
Monsanto does have the ability to just add the damage in, though. He can Hero Power, Kobold Lackey, and then slosh it right back.
I think you want to Giggling Inventor mutate this turn.
Okay, because Brawl was used.
You saw Brawl, and I don't think that Hero Power Giggling Inventor is as high of a priority in this matchup as it maybe is in other matchups.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
I'm a fan.
You get an 8-drop a turn before Omega Devastator comes online.
What?
You want as much board development as possible going into the Dr. Boom Mad Genius turn to make it awkward for them to play. Like, you know, delay it as much as possible. Like, this is not that much board development, right? But I can understand it. He has Reload with Giggling Inventor if removal came out this turn.
I mean, this is still a lot of stats.
He has the mana to replay it again with the 5/5. No, makes sense. And a lot of damage being pushed. 3 more coming in from this Goblin.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get him.
Yeah.
And, you know, the 5/5 stats is still fairly reasonable. Zalae in a position where he might look like he's in trouble. He has only 4 Warpaths available, which doesn't kill the 5/5.
2 Morning can buy some time, but then if he plays 2 Morning before Dr. Boom Mad Genius, he doesn't get to dictate the trades how he wants to. He lets Monsanto do it. He can just Restless Mummy and trade into the 5/5, but he's leaving so much damage on board. He could double Warpath, Restless Mummy. Second Brawl, wow.
Taking this very seriously. 5/5 dies. Restless Mummy can trade in and leave something back on board.
Yeah, but Monsanto has Reload with just very significant reload. Inventor plus Mutate with 4 Neotrons plus an 8-drop. He even has the second Mutate loaded up if he doesn't like the 8-drop that he gets. But I think you like that one. Yeah, you like that one. Lethal?
What about Crush? King Crush? Oh.
How many 9-drops are there in the format right now?
That's a good question. Lorinda would know. Lorinda keeps a notebook full of that stuff, as does Gia. They do a great job with that. If you give me 50,
Meanwhile,
I feel like I prepare a decent amount.
yeah, me too, but I don't know how many 9-drops there are.
Yeah. My notes are more player history. You can ask me who banned or shielded what.
My notes
match?
are strictly limited to tiebreaker rules.
And the patch notes, of course.
No, I tend to leave those out from time to time.
If Monsanto finds a way to damage his Grom, this game's over.
I hope you like my invention.
If he finds a lackey and a way to deal damage, can't really do that. Evil Totem. Zalae doesn't even have anything with just a Plague of Wrath. Has to Warpath twice a Plague of Wrath, which shuts him off from the delivery drone. This is looking real bad for our couch hero.
Yeah, the second brawl usage just
Yeah, it
punished
really
him pretty heavily.
It really stifled his removal off.
He had a full clear with Restless Mummy and Warpath. He wouldn't have a 3-1 left over after it, but he could have.
Yeah. You're starting to also see like the impact of Dr. Boom going to 9 mana. Zalae had the opportunity to hero power last turn. He would have gotten Blast Shield, I believe.
Yeah.
Or if I'm mistaken, he Blast Shield the previous turn. But the idea is that he would have been able to squeeze in more hero powers.
Okay,
And right now, he is struggling.
Warpath and Plague of Wrath.
Yes, Plague of Wrath and play a 1-mana minion.
Yep, but this will be the end of the game.
Yes.
For Zalae, the Lackey plus Weaponized Wasps. Loaded up, ready to go for Monsanto.
And the Shaman, the class that Zalae has so much faith in, is the week that Zalae chooses not to play the Shaman, and Monsanto gets over the hump. 2-1.
Yep.
Monsanto, nice victory to climb back up in the standings, and Zalae is going to have to go back to the drawing board for match number 4, as we have our winner from Team Genji.
Yeah, Monsanto continuing the trend from Season 1 of having a really good start to the season. He was a front runner in his division pretty much the entirety of the first season of Grandmasters, and I don't expect much to change given his performance here in the first couple weeks. 2-1. It's not 3-0, but it's good. It's good, and I think his lineup is set to take a few more. No Druid. Instead, he's decided to capitalize on others bringing Druid, which I like.
All right, let's go ahead and chat with our winner, Monsanto. Monsanto, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Great. So let's talk a little bit about that series. Pretty back and forth. What do you think went wrong in the first game on your end with the Shaman?
I mean, I didn't get any defensive tools, but I was fine on board at the end. I just needed that one thing to stabilize, I think, and I probably get there, but I just didn't get it.
Do you have a lot of faith in Shaman? Seemed to be a deck that you favored, but I mean, it could be anything from the picks, the protects and the bans, or do you just like the class a lot right now?
I think well, first of all, I think I messed up the pick and ban phase where I should have not banned Shaman. Shaman wasn't my best deck against his lineup. I think Shaman is one of the best decks, if not the best deck right now. But definitely, like, I don't know. I should have left up his Shaman and banned his Rogue, but I got confused.
It happens to the best of us, my friend. Don't worry.
So what was the confusion part on your end? Was it just that you were trying to map out the matchups and then you just kind of like, oh, I have to pick something?
I memorized the possibilities of bans, and then I remembered wrong of what I should ban if he banned my warrior.
Got it.
And I didn't think about it. If I thought about it, I would have been the right thing, but I thought I memorized it right.
Fair enough. Gotcha. So then the rest of the series, Zoo Warlock versus Druid, seemed pretty straightforward. You're able to build up the board. That last game, was there any key things that were going on through your mind as you were trying to put pressure on the Warrior?
I mean, this matchup is really good, I think, for Shaman. I don't think I played it perfect. There's a couple things. I mean, it's pretty hard to play on the Shaman side, especially. But I don't know, you just keep putting pressure, keep dealing damage, and you just have too much. And eventually they run out of removal, they run out of life at the same time, and then you win.
Is it because of the deck list that you feel like that? Because you have extra stuff like Youthful Brewmaster that we don't usually see in the ladder list? Because the ladder data tends to imply that Control Warrior has the edge over the Shaman. I'm not sure if that's old data, pre-patch, but it's just out there.
I don't know. Like, I think other lists should be even better against Warriors, so like with former champ and stuff. So I don't know about the data, but in practice, like it's almost impossible for Warrior to win.
Interesting.
The Shaman does too many things. You hit them on different angles, and they just can't answer.
So I guess this is the last question I want to follow up. You said that you think Shaman might be the best deck in the game or best class right now. Is there anything that it's weak to, or is it just one of those decks that you feel like is strong versus everything?
I mean, it has weaknesses. I don't want to share them.
Okay, fair enough. We'll save it for when you actually lose. But then we can't talk to you.
I know its weakness. Somdi Priest.
Exactly.
See, Monsanto agrees.
Yeah,
He
that
agreed
was
too
the one I had in
fast. He just said he didn't want to share.
But
He's lying. We're like good cop and bad cop.
it's favored. Actually, Somdi Priest is favored against every deck in the metagame. So,
Including Bonsamdi Priest. It's 56% against it.
including Somdi Priest, yeah. Which is kind of the amazing thing. But yeah.
All right. Well, Monsanto, we got to go. But thank you so much. We'll see you later this weekend.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So a few tricks up his sleeve. Monsanto doesn't want to reveal all the secrets yet about what he thinks about Question. So we'll see potentially more of that going into